Why, hello, Code Bacon welcomes you to this tutorial. In this video, we're going to talk about how to get started coding with Python. Basically, you got to install it, get an editor, and then you'll be on your way. So first thing we got to do, right, is install Python. So python.org is the website. Then we're going to head to downloads. I'm on Windows, so it should just detect that. And then we just click the installer. That's all we got to do here. Now, I'm going to be downloading this in my downloads folder. I already have it here, so I'm just going to replace it. And then there we go. Open this up. Now, a couple things, especially for Windows. For Mac people, you may need to pay attention. I don't even know if you'll have this option. I don't have a Mac, don't want a Mac. So sorry, Mac people, but it'll be something similar to what you're doing here. But you definitely want to use the admin privileges when installing it. And then this is a big one. If you want to be able to do Python type commands inside of your terminal, and if you don't know what a terminal is, don't worry, we'll show you that in a minute. But we want to add this to the path. This is a really important one. This is going to allow us to do Python commands in the terminal and do things that are pretty important. So make sure that's checked. That's a big one. Then if we go to customize installation, it's all pretty much set the way we want it. So there's not a whole lot we need to do there. So now we'll just install and then just stare blankly at an install screen. Just kidding. What I want to show really quick, which I think is kind of cool, is just the history of Python. This guy named Guido Van Rossum, I don't know how to say that, but he's the guy who created it back in 1991. Good stuff. But the thing that I think is really cool is Python. The reason why it's called Python is because of Monty Python's Flying Circus. If you've ever seen that comedy sketch group, it's good stuff. It's pretty funny. So he just wanted a short, quick name for his language, and Python was it. And it's pretty cool. Now, if you go to the docs, like every programming language will have documentation, which just shows you how to do everything in the language and gives you examples and things. Well, in this example for the pprint command, I mean, there's little Easter eggs, right? Spam, eggs, lumberjack, knights, knee. If you don't get any of these references, oh, you need to repent, change your ways, and go see some Monty Python stuff, especially Monty Python and the Holy Grail, one of the best movies ever created. So, but yeah, it's just kind of funny, right? That they kind of stick with their roots and they throw little Easter eggs in here about Monty Python because that's why it's called Python. It's because of that. All right, it's done. Happy days. Next thing we need is an editor, the thing that we're actually going to use to type the Python. And Visual Studio Code is a great choice just because pretty much a huge chunk of the industry uses it. So you might as well just use what everybody else is using. So code.visualstudio.com is the website. I'm going to download this for Windows. Same thing, we just got to wait. I'm going to replace it. I already have it here. And then we just kind of wait for it to do its thing. Run it. Pretty standard installation, nothing too crazy. Here, I would definitely check the add open with code actions, and we'll show you that in a minute. And then, of course, add to path, same thing. You want to be able to do commands in the terminal that are helpful with this. So just check all four of these. And the desktop icon if you want it. But I never open Visual Studio Code that way. All right, and then let's install. And again, let's just stare blankly at an install screen. Yeah. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I'm not going to launch this. I'm just going to hit finish because the next thing I think is kind of important is if we come over here and we open up this folder, I recommend as you're doing these type of projects that you create like a projects folder when you're starting to learn a new language and just put all your stuff in there. And also that's kind of how Visual Studio Code works is it wants to work within folders. And so this is an intro to Python. So I created this folder called intro Python joke, and this is going to be the folder that we're going to mess around in. So I can double click in here, and on Windows, I can right click. This is Windows 11. I can go to show more options, and I'm going to open with code. And that's basically the end game. This is what you want. You want to open the folder that you're going to be creating stuff in. You want to open that folder inside of Visual Studio Code. And that's what those check boxes did in the install. When it said, add the open with code action or whatever, this is what it was talking about. So if I click on that, it's going to open the folder, the intro Python joke. It's going to open that folder inside of here. And now I can start adding files and folders and things. And I can just basically start messing around with Python. So that's what I want to do is I just want to add a new file here. I'm going to call it joke.py or .py. The .py is what basically tells Visual Studio Code, hey, this is a Python file. Now, a couple other things you'll probably want to get inside of here is we'll want to go to extensions. And these are the extensions that I would recommend getting when you start coding in Python. There are tons of extensions. Extensions just do what they say. They extend the functionality of Visual Studio Code. They just let it do extra stuff that the original programmers didn't put in there. So the first thing you're absolutely going to want here is Python. You're going to want this Python extension that was done by Microsoft. So what you can do is just come up here where you search for extensions, type in Python, and you basically want to grab Python right here. When you don't have it installed, it's going to have an install button here. Get it installed. You'll be on your way. The other one you want is this Pylance. This just gives you more features. It allows like autocorrect and other things like that. The other thing that you may or may not want is the Python debugger. It's going to help you debug your programs. The other one is this black formatter, which allows you to format your code. But these are kind of hard. I don't know what I think about these because to me, it's just like, just write good code and then you won't have to worry about these formatters. But they're good if you go to a business and they have specific formatting rules and then the formatter takes care of that. But really the big ones that you want are just Python, Pylance, Python debugger. And let me double check. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything else that's kind of important. Python indent can help you because indentation is really important in Python. So you may want to get that. It just makes it so when you hit enter, it indents correctly. So that's something you may want to take a look at. But yeah, these are the three main ones: Pylance, Python, Python debugger. Okay, cool. Now that we got that, I can click back here. That takes me back to the folder and my joke.py. Now we just want to write some Python. It's going to be really, really simple Python that we write here. We just want to see if it's working. So print is just one of the most basic commands in Python. It just prints this out to the terminal. So let's do a joke. Why do programmers prefer dark mode? You ready for this dad joke? Oh, it's going to be awesome. Okay, now I'm going to do an input command, which basically we're going to use it in this case. Usually you'll use input to get input from the user, but in this case, we're going to use it to pause the program, and it won't go anywhere until we hit enter. So we'll say, press enter to find out. Okay, and then we'll want to run this. A couple ways to run this is you could hit this little play button if it's there. If it's not, we can go to view and we're going to go to terminal. And this is where I'd recommend doing it, is we're just going to run our Python in the terminal. And then what it'll do is it should kind of give us the directory or the link here or the path to the folder that we're in. And then depending on if you're on Windows or Mac, you're going to type different things. For me to run it, I can just type py and then the name of the file. And then it runs. And I hit enter and then it's done. On other things, you might have to type Python. Notice how that worked for me. I could type Python or Py on Windows. On Mac, you might have to say Python 3. because I want to say that Python is pre-installed on pretty much every Mac OS, but it's like Python 2. So you might have to type Python 3 joke.py. Now, notice that didn't work on Windows, but that might work for you Mac people. Okay. So, but I'm just going to say Py. So the print, why do programmers prefer dark mode? Prints out. Cool. The input basically waits until I put in input, and then I hit enter, and then it finishes up. So now I can put the answer under here and get your dad joke pants on, people, because this is awesome. So why do programmers prefer dark mode? Because the light attracts too many bugs. Dumb. All right, so let's put a fly in there. Oh, and you can hold down the Windows key and press period, and that'll give you the little emoji pop up. So was that dumb? Yeah, that was dumb. But whatever, dad jokes rock. So Py, joke.py. Why do programmers prefer dark mode? I hit enter to find out. Because the light attracts too many bugs. Okay, there we go. All right, people. So hopefully that video helped out. But this will get you this is how you start programming in Python. And now that Python is installed on your computer, you can start doing all the different things that you want to do. But anyways, yeah, hopefully that helped out. And I just want to say, remember, burn the bugs, not the bacon. This is Code Bacon signing off. Have an amazing day, guys. See you around.